There we go. All righty. I'd like to call the meeting to order for, what is today? September 13th, 6 p.m. here at City Hall. First item on the agenda is public changes to, roll call. Thank you, Chelsea.
Okay, Alex. Do not have Alex yet. Brian.
Present.
David.
Present.
Don.
Present.
Kimberly.
Present.
Peck.
Present.
Will is absent. Lori. No Lori.
All righty. We are cruising. Any changes to the agenda? Anybody? Don't see any? All righty. Public comment. We have anybody in the waiting room there electronically?
Do not.
Excuse me. Consent agenda, approval of minutes. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes?
Yes. I make a motion to approve the August minutes.
Excellent. Motion made. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
David seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody in Ethernet there?
Did you guys catch that?
I said aye, but
Aye.
Aye. There we go. All righty. Takes us to new business support for Clackamas County Ordinance ZDO 286. Michelle.
Excellent. Okay, so I have a PowerPoint and I'm trying to join as a panelist and it won't let
I
me.
hit promote. Is
Is
it
it?
giving you the thing to say yes?
Yeah, and it's, for some reason, it's not letting me get promoted to panelist. We'll work out all the bugs here once we do a couple meetings, but I'm clicking join as panelist, but it's not. Do you want to just bring up the slide deck?
Could you share with her and she can scroll through you?
Yeah, let's do that. Are you,
Wait, I don't know if I can though because of the.
can you do it from that? Do it from the iPad?
Oh, here, I can actually, no, I think I can do it from here.
You sure do. So do you have an extra stack report?
Mhm.
Okay, so while we're working on this slide deck, what I'll do is I'll talk a little bit about what this is and why we're chatting about it. And then if we get the slide deck going, we'll bring it up. But so part of what we're discussing today is a ordinance that is a Clackamas County ordinance. And just like a local code or ordinance, counties also have ordinances. So ZDO, which stands for Zoning Development Ordinance, manages property and allows use outside of the urban growth boundary. So Clackamas County right now through ZDO 286 is essentially amending their comprehensive plan along with some of their codes or their ordinances to align with state administrative rules. And so this is important, and when we get the slide deck up, I'll show you guys, but this is important because property outside of the UGB, if it's exclusive farm use, if it's zoned timber or agriculture, has limited abilities of what you could do to develop parkland. So with the county coming into alignment with the OAR, the Oregon Administrative Rule 660, it'll allow for properties outside of the urban growth boundary that are zoned timber, agriculture, or forest to have certain park uses on it. So for us in Sandy here, for example, there's some property up north that's outside of UGB. If hypothetically speaking, we ever purchased this property, it is zoned exclusive farm use. So we would be limited to what we could or couldn't do on that property because of how it's zoned. Once Clackamas County amends their comprehensive plan and their ordinances to align with the Oregon revised or the administrative rules, there's a mechanism for cities to be able to do a master plan, go through the Clackamas County process. The Clackamas County would adopt that master plan, allowing park development on EFU agricultural timber. So this is good for us as Sandy. So if we ever purchase land outside of the urban growth boundary, we could essentially follow the Oregon administrative rules to develop parkland. And that includes things like campsites, soft surface trails, shelters that are under 1,500 square feet. We'd be able to run some sewer and some different things outside the UGB that supports park use. And so for us in rural and Sandy, this is a really good opportunity for us to support this. And that's what the Parks Board is being asked today, is to talk about this, consider providing a letter of support to the Board of County Commissioners, saying that essentially we support ZDO 286 and the amendments to the comprehensive plan and their ordinances.
Right, so really though, all we're doing is asking council to support, right?
Yes, thank you, Don. Yes. And what we would do is that in the packet, there was a draft letter of support. So if the Parks Board recommends to support this, then my next step would be to say that the Parks Board recommends this. This letter would go to council to officially, take the stance or proceed with it if they choose to do so, but taking Parks Board's recommendation into consideration. And one thing I'd like to talk about too, real quick, that wasn't in the staff report. This is a new development. The Clackamas County Planning Commission heard this topic on Monday. And the Planning Commission for Clackamas County moved ZDO 286 forward to the Board of Commissioners. And so the Planning Commission for Clackamas County heard it, moved it forward. And so for us, it would be supplying a letter to the Board of County Commissioners with support from the council, would endorse it. Us saying that we would, as a city, we support it.
Right, but to be completely clear, still, even if they approved this and we did buy property outside, we would still be restricted as to what we could or couldn't do on that property, correct? So we couldn't do active recreation.
Correct. Yep. And if I wish I had the slide deck up, because I had the OAR that listed what could happen on that property zoned EFU or timber. Mhm.
Could you just bring
You want, yeah, I
the
can,
slide up on your own and that way you can read it?
let's see here.
So if we were to buy property, it's outside the city, that's the UGB. How about if we were to buy property outside the city limits, but in the urban reserves?
I don't know the answer to that, actually.
Okay.
Yeah,
I guess, because he said active use, my question is, you said something regarding putting sewer and structures on there under 1,500 square feet that would be used for use. So I instantly went to RV parking, camping, stuff like that. But if we can't use it as an active recreation, then how does that work? Because I mean, I would consider camping active recreation.
I think what they're saying is we can't build sports fields on it.
Yeah, okay. So that's what they consider active recreation then? Okay.
I think we can do passive, and apparently camping. Why camping is more passive than active, I don't know, but I think it's just really interesting. Do you have it up? You can-
I do, and I'm sorry I can't share it with the group. I apologize that we'll work through these bugs for next time. The campground areas, so recreational vehicle sites, tent sites, camper cabins, yurts, teepees, covered wagons, group shelters, campfire program areas, and camp stores. That's under the campground use. Day use areas, so picnic shelters, barbecue areas, swimming areas, so not swimming pools, open play fields and play structures. Recreational trails include walking, hiking, biking, horse, motorized off-road vehicles, and trail staging areas. Boating and fishing facilities, so example would be launch ramps, landings, docks, moorage facilities, small boat storage, boating fuel stations, fish cleaning stations, boat sewage, and pump stations. Amenities related to park use intended only for park visitors and employees, so laundry facilities, recreation shops, snack shops not exceeding 1,500 square feet or floor area, and support facilities, so only serving the park's land wherein the facility is located. So water supplies, sewage collection and treatment facilities, stormwater management facilities, electrical and communication facilities, restrooms and showers, recycle and trash collection facilities, registration buildings, roads, bridges, parking areas and walkways. And then lastly, park maintenance and management facilities located within the park. Maintenance shops, yards, fuel stations for park vehicles, storage for park equipment and supplies, and administrative offices and staff lodging. So that's what's allowed under OAR 660-034-0035 A through G. And that's what the county would bring into line with their,
Is there a list of can'ts? Everything that's not on the can. list,
Yeah,
right?
yep.
But my question is, it says play fields. So does that mean you can have a field where kids can go out and kick a soccer ball, but you can't put goals up?
It sounds, from what I'm gathering from it, it sounds we could have like a soccer field as long as it's for people that are staying at the camp.
Yeah, or
Or
informal
a
use or
day
something.
use
Yeah.
area. It can't be
Not a
something
league.
where we lease it out to the sports league to come and play games at.
Yeah.
On the weekends. It's for day use. Almost like what's the park right up the mountain here? Got the trails. It's got the
Wildwood.
Yeah, Wildwood is what I'm gathering.
I think you're correct. Okay. You know, it's interesting, as I recall, back in the, I believe the late '90s, so some of this came into effect at the state level because of an issue to do with Hood River. They wanted to build sports fields on orchard land. And some of the surrounding orchardists didn't want that. And they pushed through the legislation at the state level to create this situation. And as I recall, it was more to do with the potential impacts on their farming practices than anything else. Okay. I personally am comfortable supporting it. I don't see a whole lot of downside to it. I find it unfortunate that it wouldn't allow us to build some sports fields, because that was kind of my big hope. I wonder about if it were ever annexed into the city, if we'd be allowed to change the zoning.
Doesn't it change automatically as soon as it becomes annexed?
Not necessarily, I don't think. I don't know. That's a great question.
The boundary changes. It's no longer urban growth barrier anymore. And so the zoning changes, it gets rezoned, I thought.
I think it would have to be rezoned.
Yeah, I think it gets rezoned as part of the annexation as to what the city needs. I could be wrong.
And I do have an example of this that might answer that question for you. So an example is the community campus park project. So a portion of the park is outside the UGB, but within the city limits, which is a very unique.
Weird.
It is very odd. And so when we first just looked at developing that park, part of the first thing I did is called the county, because that property is zoned timber outside the UGB. The county on record said it's within city limits, it's your jurisdiction. And so part of what we did is we worked off of the UGB. And so we have trails and things that fall within the OAR 660 use, which was fortunate for us. So to your point, I don't believe it's rezoned. It's just within the city limits on who has jurisdiction over what happens on that property.
Okay.
Did that kind of answer the question, sort of?
I think so, but it's still unclear to me that it can actually be rezoned. I would think it could be,
And you'd have to go through land use. and-
Yeah.
Yep.
right?
So it's not an automatic thing, it's something that can be done.
Yeah.
And have another step to it. Okay, well, that makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, there's options.
And I just have a question. Was there like a convenience store option in there as long as it's under 1,500 square feet? Is that right?
Well,
Like
it's a-
this-
it's a
camp store.
like camp store. Okay.
Mhm.
Like I was just curious, like, what does that like look like as far as
The description is really just making me think of like state parks or something like that. You know, it really is in the vein of, I don't know, it seemed like all the description is trying really hard to make it kind of be this interzone between city and then these other, this other, land use, right, which is agriculture and timber. Just when you were reading the description of what we could do, Rochelle, it just put me in mind of state parks and what you would find in a state park or a county park.
Yeah. Great
I
point.
mean, revenue wise, like that RV park in this area campsite, that is not state controlled would be moneymaker.
You would think so.
I know I pay yearly for my parks and camping, so.
This would definitely broaden the use of what we could and couldn't do with property outside the UGB. And it would give local municipalities a route to get their master plans adopted to have that broadened use.
But when is this going to the Board of County Commissioners?
This, if we submit prior to, we have, well, to summarize, we have until the end of September to get our letter of support
Okay,
in for public testimony.
that was really the big question. All right.
Yep, yep.
Got time.
Just, I don't know if my page is different. What does Lake Oswego have to do with any of this?
That's a good question. So Lake Oswego has property outside of the UGB that's called Lusher Farm. And they have a master plan. And through the process of trying to get their master plan adopted by the county discovered that they didn't actually have a mechanism in place to adopt Lake Oswego's master plan process to allow that use. And so Lake Oswego is working to get their master plan adopted, but before that, the county has to amend the ZDO 286.
So that's kind of what pushed this forward,
Yeah.
basically.
So Lake Oswego found out that they had an error and they brought the attention to all of the municipalities.
Yeah, and there are some company or counties who have done this already. Deschutes is a county, for example, that essentially adopted the OAR
Okay.
to do it. So, yeah,
And I see we have a draft letter.
correct.
Want to go ahead and read the letter for us? Rochelle?
Yeah. Okay. To practice my reading out loud. This
There you
used to
go.
like scare me in elementary school, so God, here we go.
Give me just one.
Dear, we'll each take a paragraph. I'm just kidding. Okay. Dear members of Clackamas County Planning Commission, I am writing on behalf of the City of Sandy Council to express our strong support for Clackamas County Ordinance ZDO 286. This ordinance proposes the creation of the framework for the development of the local park master plans on exclusive farm use, EFU, zoned properties, and the establishment of a special use district overlay consistent with OAR 660-034-035 and 660-034-0040. The City of Sandy recognizes the importance of preserving our agricultural lands and open spaces while also addressing the needs of our growing community. The proposed ordinance strikes a balance between those vital aspects of our county's development. It offers a thoughtful approach to ensuring the availability of recreation and open spaces for our residents while respecting the architectural heritage that is deeply rooted in our region. We commend Clackamas County for proactively working to address the needs of our residents and visitors for accessible recreation opportunities, especially in EFU zones, without compromising the integrity of our agricultural lands. the creation of local parks master plans for EFU zoned properties and the establishment of a special use district overlay align values and the goals of our community, which prioritize both sustainability and quality of life. By supporting ordinance ZDO 286, the city of Sandy believes that we are contributing to the betterment of our county as a whole. This ordinance demonstrates a commitment to the responsible land use planning that balances the various interests within our county. We would like to extend our gratitude to Clackamas County for engaging in this important initiative and for considering the diverse needs of our communities. We look forward to the positive impacts that Ordinance ZDO 286 will bring to our county, including enhanced recreational opportunities and the preservation of agricultural heritage and the overall improvement of our quality of life. If you have any questions or need further information, please do not hesitate to contact our office. We stand ready to assist and support the successful implementation of this ordinance. Sincerely, Stan Pulliam, Mayor.
I'm getting hung up on the exclusive farm use. What? Now, when I say exclusive farm use, I'm thinking of like Bureau of Land Management, where the farmers can move his cows to, you know, part of the, you know, like heading up the mountain where he can move his cows to graze there for, you know, for the summer, the winter, whatever, however that works. I mean, is that the type of property we're talking about, or?
I think this is more the property that's currently growing nursery stock. So it might be a field of arborvitae, you know,
So like say the city wants, say one of the nurseries are selling the land and we decide to buy it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not something that, and without getting controversial, it's not something we're gonna be like forcing people
no,
to sell so the city can use it for campgrounds or anything like that.
no, I think we pretty much would only deal with blowing sellers.
Okay,
So if somebody, maybe there's a farmer who wants to retire, his family doesn't want to take over the business, they want to sell the property. We would have some, if it's a property, we would have some interest in that maybe one day we could bring inside the city limits and do something more active on.
okay,
Or maybe something we want to look at.
okay.
Perfectly said.
So I see you have a draft motion. On here, do we need to use that exact language, or should our language be more requesting that council send this letter on our behalf?
The motion language would be basically, yes, if you used that motion language, we would take and present this to it's the Parks Board saying you support it.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're saying use the motion language.
Use the motion, yes. please.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get there.
Where's the draft motion?
Is anybody interested in, does anybody feel comfortable making a motion?
I do feel comfortable making the motion.
I didn't write it, so.
You want to- yeah. Make a motion. I move that the Parks and Trail Advisory Board endorses Clackamas County's proposed amendment to ordinance ZDO 286, local park master plan framework in EFU zoned lands, aligning the county's zoning regulations with Oregon Administrative Rules 660-034-0035 and 660-034-0040 to allow for public parks and exclusive farm use, EFU, timber, TBR, and AG ag forest AGF zoning districts through a master planning process.
Motion's been made. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that
I
motion.
second that.
Okay.
We have David or? was that
David,
Ken?
I think had the
Okay.
second. Any further discussion? Nope. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I hear nothing but ayes.
Who was that? Who was that? Peck, was that you that said aye?
It was Kim.
Yeah, it was both of us.
Okay,
Okay,
it like meshes it together when you say it at the same time.
then I believe that's unanimous for everybody that's on the
Perfect.
deal. All righty. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good work. And next item on the agenda is Tiana. Tell us about an update on a special project we're working on here.
had some photos I was gonna share with you, but
We can include them in the minutes.
yeah, we'll share them at a later date. So Chris, our contractor with C2 Recreation, has begun pouring the footings that will support the bridge for the trail crossing for the new trail that we are having go from the currently called the community campus property down to the Sandy River Park property.
Oh, nice.
We had hoped to start trail clearing by this point, but the IFPL level, so the fire protection level, what raised, and so we can't have the equipment down there. It's not efficient to start trail clearing at this point. So we have pushed back and changed the schedule tentatively to have the bridge finish the end of October, early November, and start rough cutting the trail around that time. Then we'll be working with the ant farm to have them help us do some of the trail work as well. And so we're looking at trying to schedule around some holiday breaks. So the 8th through the 10th of November and the 21st to the 22nd of November, that whole Thanksgiving week, we'll have ant farm out there doing some of the trail finishing work. Hopefully have a finished trail by the end of November.
Very good. It's exciting. How will they get the bridge into place? Is it airlifted in, or are they gonna carry it down, or?
They're using a piece of heavy machinery and it's coming in off of Marcy Street.
Okay.
And coming down from Sandy River Park side of the access, and we will be creatively fitting it in place. It sounded like he was going to be slinging it, and
Nice.
I'm interested to see exactly how it happens.
It should be entertaining. Worth the price of admission, no doubt.
When you say the ant farm, is that like a paid position? Are we paying them to do that or?
We will be paying, but it's with their youth corps
Okay,
trail crew.
okay. I was gonna say, because I mean, how do people qualify for that? Because I mean, we do have two full running Boy Scout troops in the area too that are always looking for projects and stuff like that to work on.
Absolutely. If there's groups that are interested, there's work that they could do with like the clearing and stuff.
Mhm.
If they're, please reach out to us because we would be excited to use any of those volunteer groups to help
Okay.
with some of that, the work that they can do.
And then I see that the next item is dealing with the playground replacement.
We have ordered a replacement playground structure for Tupper Playground. There's several items of concern with the existing playground. It does not meet current safety standards, and we have some real issues that we need to address there. So we have placed the order. We're hoping to receive it, or it'll be available to be received in December or January and go for install in the early spring.
Do we install ourselves or do we hire a?
You're hiring out the installation.
Okay.
And John's team will be working to do some fundraising to offset the cost of this playground.
Does that go out by RFP or does that?
They have a direct procurement contract, so we're able to, we solicited 3 bids, reviewed the different structures that were available and selected the nicest structure that we could get for the best price.
Good. That's price through state contract.
That's the word I was looking for.
Okay,
Thank you.
no problem. Very good. Any other updates?
Yeah, I mean, I will turn it over to John, but we're just working harder on Winterfest and there's, John, if you want to take some updates, that'd be great.
Sure. I'll start with senior side, then move to recreation and kind of finish with Winterfest overall. And our senior services, Carolina, Appliance Service Coordinator, has cultivated a pretty great partnership with Mountain Hospice. We just started a grief kind of end of life class. The first class was offered this week. Had a more than expected turnout. People showed up that didn't pre-register, which is great. We had room for them. And then also working with Mountain Hospice to do a veterans event around veterans, honoring all of our vets who served and passed. And it's a pinning ceremony. We'll get a certain pin, a certain star from a flag that was flown during that time of war. They know more of the details about it, but I'm really excited about our efforts to kind of honor the veterans, which is exciting, important. I want to talk about Mark Young. He's our transportation coordinator. I haven't bragged about him a ton. He got hired about 2 weeks after I was hired, and he got hired as a transportation coordinator / driver. And his job is kind of morphed into much more that I would say he's like our senior recreation coordinator. And I mean, at a minimum, he plans 6 trips in our 15-passenger bus. We're talking 2 different trips, one that's accessible, one that's a little more high level. He reaches out for volunteers to come to add support. So there's a fast group and a slow group. He always makes sure that we're changing up those locations. We try to do 2 like thematic themes about stuff that's happening that month, whether it's Oktoberfest, like the Fruit Loop. We'll take our little 15-passenger bus and do like a Fruit Loop trail, stop off at different wineries, cideries, places to get a snack. And it's just pretty great. I could say a ton about it, but I got this email this week, which made me think of it. And it's just from a local senior who's been here for 10 years, who brags about him often. He said, I just want to tell you what a wonderful service you were providing to us, particularly Mark. He's the most caring, kind, and helpful person. It goes further than doing a good job. He's wonderful. Although I'm sure it is obvious to everyone, I just want everyone at the center and whoever else is in charge at the city of Sandy to know how much we appreciate and love you. So it's like
Sincerely, Mark's mother. I'm teasing.
No, but she is a regular as up hers, and we like to give her a hard time too.
Yeah.
No, she's great. And yeah, just that position's morphed into something great. And she's come in, that same person who said that, she's been like, you guys, when you kind of took over as this new unit, I wasn't sure about you, but you care about us. I was like, well, yeah. She's like, thank you. And I was like, it just fills our bucket. And she goes, but Mark the most.
Nice.
I'll go to the rec side. We just had Corn Cross. Super proud of Carol Cohen. She kind of took a step back and moved her involvement in Corn Cross in a different direction, really focusing on how we get our citizens in Sandy involved in this event and boring. And so we created this Kitty Cross event, which kind of always exists in these biking realms. You'll have your big main bike event for adults and teenagers where you're going through corn, you're going up and over lifts, and there's always like a little cones that kids bike through. And she had 60 pre-registered events, had a huge setup, had sections of the farm where they could go through the corn and the sunflowers. And I've got emails about her as well, where I could talk about her, but I thought this was pretty cool. To whom may concern, my daughter had a great time this weekend on the kid course. The format, distance, and great turnout all go hand in hand. I'm sure there are many involved in making this happen, and I want to thank you all. We need more like this for our pre-juniors. Thanks. And then I totally agree. I thank Carol after the race for her efforts, because for my pre-junior, it is by far the best kid cross race. Kids appreciate a little bit of distance and a few challenges offered them. She told me there were 120 kids participating. What a great turnout. And she had the perfect course to accommodate them. So just really thoughtful, proactive, and just couldn't be prouder. Our other rep coordinator, Amy Lytle, is working on a couple Halloween events. She's working on putting up a bat house to go along with our pollinators. We're a bee city, a pollinator city, and bats, I learned, are nocturnal pollinators. And so we're going to put up a bat house during International Bat Week that kind of aligns with Halloween. And then she's also working on putting together a booze and brews event.
Nice.
So kind of getting some adult themed recreation. And we're just kind of in the infancy stages of how we partner with that. It'd be nice to be able to do it at our own center, but we're a non-alcohol facility. So trying to create and cultivate partnerships outside of that.
Oh, maybe here at City Hall.
Indeed. The other thing before Winterfest is our park naming survey just went live, went out on Facebook. We're gonna update our website. It's gonna go in the senior source. We've got flyers that we're gonna hang throughout places. So if you haven't had a chance, you can go in, follow the parameters, and pitch your name for that new park that's going on out there. And then at last, it's hard to believe, but we are like full-blown Winterfest mode right now. So we just kind of pitched our ideas to City Council on our last work session, got the go-ahead, we drafted our letters to the businesses, we've procured more decorations, more ways of installing, more ways of gathering different businesses to be a part of this, to try to just expand what this is going to be. So nothing revolutionary, but just growing from what we did last year.
Nice.
Being a mountain lover and the lover of snow, and the fact that I got 5 snowmobiles sitting in a trailer waiting for me.
Yeah.
Can we name it Let It Snow based on the movie Frozen? So I can actually go out this year.
So one of the parameters for the naming is if you can justify within those parameters, it could be a top choice. So
I'm just saying, I actually want to go out and have fun this year. And last year was kind of
agree.
a little crazy.
Have a skier, so I want all the snow we can get. Any
Very good.
questions?
Nope. Michelle, anything else?
No, just, we're all just gearing up. These guys are busy running 100 miles an hour and working on recruiting for the city manager and that's where we were at today. And so that'll be exciting for the city coming up and, yeah, lots of good stuff coming up.
With the parting of the city manager, have we found a new police chief too, or?
They've appointed, Sean Landry as the interim, police chief as of now. So they're working on
So we're still
that.
looking for a permanent one, or is he gonna become a permanent?
They'll work through a recruitment process with that.
All righty. Anything else?
Not, I do not.
No? Well, I know it's a short meeting tonight, but that's okay, because I'm hungry, so meeting adjourned.
The day started at 4
Thanks,
AM,
Ted.
so I'm
Thanks,
okay with
Tim.
it.
Let's-
Thanks,